Astaxanthin is a powerful carotenoid antioxidant that's used as a nutritional supplement. We last visited Supreme Biotechnologies 2 years ago when it was in its early stages of production. Since then, they've developed their technologies as well as 2 new products that are being marketed for joint and eye health. The antioxidant is produced by microalgae when stressed by sunlight and desiccation, and then extracted from dried algae using supercritical CO2. Tony Dowd explains.
We're in part of the room which we call our red phase room, and in here we're maturing the algae and making it go red. It starts off green, we want to make it go red. The most common place you'll see it is in salmon, so the pinkness of salmon is astaxanthin. You'll also see it in things like krill and in shrimp, the pinkness of shrimp, and flamingos. The flamingo wings are all pink because they eat this particular algae out of a lake in Africa. This is quite new, this algae. It's been on the market for just over 10 years now. We got the idea because we're trying to find an algae to grow, to produce a system that could be used for biofuels. We decided biofuels was uneconomic, but this algae looked very interesting. It's quite a new ingredient, so astaxanthin is a new thing. Has 700-800 papers written on it to be really effective, and I thought, yeah, that's good because I want to deal with something that's got real science behind it, not otherwise. And it's valuable, it was worth a lot of money.
In layman's terms, an antioxidant is something that wipes up toxic molecules. Toxic molecules will attack cells and attack tissues. They come from sunlight, they come from herbicides, pesticides, food additives, smoking. And what happens is when they attack your cells, these are the things that we think initiate inflammation, heart disease, dementia, diabetes, and other medical conditions. So ideally, we want something to mop up these free radicals before they can initiate the problems. Astaxanthin ranks the highest that we know of in science right now, above vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin C, and resveratrol. Ideally, we want everyone who's going to suffer from inflammation, arthritis, sun damage, dementia, we believe that it will help them. We're not saying it's a cure, but it will mop up free radicals that cause these damages. We're in the early phases of doing clinical trials. We're beginning to see that the results do pan out, that astaxanthin does retard some of these disease processes, modify some of the disease processes. We're just not at that point that we can say it can cure or it stops, but we do know it helps.
We're here in Nelson for 2 very good reasons. One is the Cawthorne Institute, who helped us identify a New Zealand strain of the algae, so we've got a New Zealand strain of the algae, and also the system of growing in these bag system, which was a development of their own system that they had developed as part of their mussel program. The other company in Nelson here that we utilise is Nutriseal. They extract the astaxanthin from the algae using supercritical CO2. There's huge demand. We could sell 20, 30 times as much of the raw material that we produce. What we've done is we've just added extra capacity, we've raised money, and we've added extra capacity into the plant. And we've now got close to 5,000 bags running between 2 rooms at any one time. No, this is old stuff here. Yeah, they went through and we've got 2 stages. The first stage is what we call green phase, and that phase we're continuously growing cells, so like basically a cell engine, continuously producing that, which we then bring across every day, once a day, across in what we call the red phase. And obviously it starts green at this point, and our aim over the red phase is to force it to go red. And we do that by stressing the algae in different ways, using light, heat, nutrients. What we've done is firstly we've put in what is the second room of maturing algae. We have put in a system where we concertina all the bags together. That's basically about space utilisation. We've got almost 4 times the amount of bags in one room as we did in the other room earlier on. We've also added in LEDs instead of the fluoro lights which we had previously. So we've moved all fluoros from here. Fluoros are very inefficient. You get 85% heat out of a fluoro, 15% light. These here are the other way around, 85–90% light and 10–15% heat. So we've got over twice as many bags in our total facility. We're using about the same amount of power or slightly less than what we were doing before. These LEDs also allow us to modify the light from quite low levels of light all the way up to 4 or 5 times as much as what we got out of a fluoro light. We can accelerate the process, so accelerate the time for doing turnovers, and also for improving the level of astaxanthin that we're producing. This is the algae just about ready to be harvested. So it's now really nice and fat, full of oils it needs to survive going in the future, and it's put a lot of astaxanthin in there. So now this is basically ready to harvest. We've just harvested these cells, and you're looking at the fat globules around the edge and all the way through, and that's the energy that the algae is stored away. And it could be stored there for 20, 30 years before it finds nutrients in a nice little spot to grow again in the future. The redness you see throughout that is the astaxanthin, and you'll see in this one here, it's just packed full of astaxanthin. And that's protecting the fat, the lipids that are in there, stopping them going rancid, and also protects the DNA. So it's like a sunscreen around and throughout the algae. Earlier on, we were just selling the raw ingredient, but with the high demand in the ingredient, what we've done is we've now started developing the products. And we've also developed a cosmetics range, which we'll be launching fairly shortly. The markets are Southeast Asia, so Japan, Malaysia, China, Indonesia, United States, and we also sell them in the United Kingdom.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.